Welcome to Beat the Drop, episode, I want to say 8. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to Beat the Drop. You'll be pleased to hear Everton might can't make it tonight, so we don't have to listen to his smugness. Unfortunately, I tried giving Jimmy the wrong link and somehow he still found his way to the stage. Good to see you, Jimmy. Good to see you.
Good evening, lads. Good evening.
Evening, mate. Evening.
Good evening.
We got some beef to settle with John and Rich from midweek. Don't think we've forgotten, Rich. Don't think we've forgotten. Whatever platform you're watching on, please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to all the channels. The links are in the description. And let's kick it off with Statman John and Rich. Rich, you can't be feeling that rich these days, mate. Holding Bournemouth, Liverpool as well. You didn't give him much smack, to be honest, last week. You're still depressed, mate. What happened?
999, what's your emergency?
Officer, I'd like to report 2 crimes. First one's a missing persons report for Wednesday night. Had about 15 players not turn up. Haven't seen them since Wednesday. The second one, which I'll get into in a bit more detail a bit later, there was a robbery which took place at Sellers Park. Around Sellers Park, that's SE25, by the way.
What time was the robbery occurring?
Let's have a look. You got 4 o'clock was second half, and then it was about 20 minutes after that. Let's say half past 4.
Rich, it's illegal to report a fake crime.
Thank you very much, sir.
Played at lunchtime,
and we will get back to you shortly.
I appreciate that.
Rich, I was going so well until you forgot you were the lunchtime kickoff, mate.
That says it all, doesn't it?
Oh, Rich, that was so good, man. Why did you have to spoil it for us?
Oh, I'm so sorry, mate. Oh, man. Not right now, girl. I'm depressed. Let's kick off with the Bournemouth one. Sorry. Honestly, both teams were rubbish from the night. It's just a shame that we were worse. I don't think that's the worst performance we've had all season, by the way. And it's a weird one because I was really, I think I mentioned it last week, I was really, really, really worried because of the attacking threat that Bournemouth have compared to our lack of attacking threat. And it was right. But I think we handled that quite well. But I think that was more so because Bournemouth wasn't good as well. It was like a tale of 2 very bad sides on the day. Granted, Bournemouth are definitely on the ascendancy where we're not. But the goals we conceded, oh my gosh, it just brings me back to the Everton game. I mean, lately, we've been conceding some really crappy goals. Now, the first one obviously was from a corner. Good night, sweetheart. The first one was obviously from a corner. Sinisterra's like 2 foot tall, and he's out jumping. I can't even remember who it was. And Joe Ward's ball watching again. Like it's as always on the back post. 1-0. Fair enough. Cool. Whatever. Quite early on, we got plenty of time to try and fix things. We didn't. I don't think we caused. I don't even know if Neto had a save to make. That's how bad it was. Then the second goal. Sam Johnson, you want to play for England? If you're gonna come out and wipe everyone out. Absolutely wipe everyone out. He doesn't. He goes. It's kind of like, oh, what's those? Those back in the days that are black and white, like comic things where they go forward, they go back, and they go forward, and they go back. It was a bit like that, you know. And then it was just a crappy goal to concede. Now I want to big up the fans because we let them have it. We let the players have it, and we let the management have it. With a chance, just obviously effing useless, and just the boos were crazy. Like, it's not been that toxic for years, I would say.
You're happy it's toxic. You're a fake fan, mate.
I just mentioned that it was toxic. I didn't say I was happy.
No, you said you want to big up the fans for it.
Well, for voicing their opinions. 1 second, I think the police have called me back. Hello?
Mr. Amponsa,
Speaking.
I can confirm that we are currently sending units over to Andy Madley's house to arrest him for the crimes that he has committed.
Oh, thank goodness for that, because I've given you the wrong times as well, mate. Sorry.
Hey, I know Andy Madley is a good lad.
We always do the right thing as the police.
I appreciate your time. I mean, it's not going to give us 3 points, but hey, thanks for trying.
Pleasure.
All right, take care.
Thank you for your service, guys.
All right.
John, how was it from the other side, John? How was it from the other side?
Well, no,
Dude,
I was just wondering if Rich was just getting a bit ahead of himself because, I mean, Crystal Palace have been spoiled this last couple of years.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Sorry, God.
That from Roy was fucking rich from him. As if Premier League survival is basically, you know, with the occasional decent game, but mostly pretty boring football, is really the thing that's going to keep you entertained as a football fan, and you should be counting your lucky stars that you should be in the Premier League for it. Unfortunately, the Palace game, I was busy, so I only saw the first 40 minutes, and I have to say, for most of it, I thought it was going to be what Bournemouth have done a lot against Palace, which is come into it in good form and then just not turn up, be shit, and produce one of the worst games of the season. Last year, our two of our 3 worst performances last season were both against Palace. It just seemed to be we never turn up against them. And it seems like we didn't look like we were turning up in this game. Then we get a goal from a corner, which was only our second ever goal from a corner this season. And I would imagine it was basically we just sat back and just waited for one last opportunity to counter, which came right at the end, and we pounced on a mistake from Sam Johnson. Great ball in by Billing, to be fair, and then Morecambe.
Oh yeah, very
pretty much bit more can't miss from there. But yeah, I didn't get to see much of it. But what I did see didn't look like Bournemouth were playing that well, I have to say, compared to playing pretty well against Sheffield United, playing pretty well against Burnley for the most part, and then obviously we'll come on to the weekend game. But yeah, it didn't look great against Palace for the most part, but I think that just shows the upward trajectory of the team. We weren't playing that well, admittedly, neither were Palace, but not only did we get the goal, we hung on, and not only get to clean sheet, but got a second as well. It's just real positivity in the side at the moment.
Yeah, I've never known of a team to be able to sit back knowing that they're not going to be broken down. I generally don't think we created a chance.
You had. I've just had a look. You had 3 shots on target out of 16 shots in that game.
Yeah, they're probably all P-rollers as well.
Well, there's a decent chance. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then John, I hate to say it, but well done. 3-0 at Dead Trafford. I was cheering for you. I'm not gonna lie, mate. And
it was good. It was
You were
really
cheering
good.
for a relegation rival. That's a strange mentality. That
We're not a relegation rival anymore, though, are we?
not fair, John. You are climbing far and away from relegation zone. That's fair. That's fair.
We're
mate.
now level on points with Chelsea, who are in 11th, while we're in 13th.
Oh, perhaps you are in a relegation fight then.
So we're in as much of a relegation fight as Chelsea are,
Yeah.
which is a decent one. But yeah, I mean, what can you say? That's probably the greatest result in the club's history, up there with the time we beat Chelsea away 3-0 as well. That was under Conte. That was the season after they were champions as well, so that might eclipse it, but it's one of the 3 best results in the club's history, and there's no doubt about
result.
that.
The other one being beating Forest at City Ground, yeah?
I mean, the fact that we've done it more than once recently means that it's not quite got the same shine, but it's, you know.
Well, John, it's really positive right now for Bournemouth because I've heard you're putting that result in your trophy cabinet.
Yeah, there's not much else in there. To be fair, there's a championship trophy and there's like a football league trophy from about 30 years ago, and I think that's it. So we can pop
Rich
that
looks
one
jealous.
on the we can pop that one on the shelf underneath.
To be honest, John, we've got that many League Cup wins that we'd probably sacrifice a League Cup win for a 3-0 at Old Trafford. We've got plenty to spare, so
yeah, fair enough. But yeah, it's just looking onwards and upwards. I've really I can gloat as much as I like, but it was just such a fun game to watch. It was awkward at times. I'm not gonna lie that it's the spin on it is very much like, look how amazing Bournemouth were and look how crap Man United were. And yeah, Man United weren't great, but we weren't. That was up there as one of our best performances this season. But I'm not going to say it's definitely our best performance of the season. And Man United put so many balls into the box. They took a load of touches in our box. We sat back for the first 20 minutes of the second half, couldn't really get out of our area. But they just never quite put it together. They didn't produce that last pass to make a chance. They had 3 shots on target and they were all straight at Neto. It was not. It wasn't as crap from United as people are going to make it out to be, but that's because they lost 3-0 to Bournemouth, and apparently that should never happen, according to any Man United fan. So yeah, just barely come down from the ceiling, to be honest, this afternoon.
I'll give you that. You're looking
barely come down from the ceiling.
Chester's out. Everton Mike can't make it tonight. He's got some dinner thing. And you should all be thankful. Jace is on his way. I think he's just trying to find 5 excuses for each goal. But yeah, just quickly on Bournemouth, John. I hate to say it. You're kind of winning me over a little. I know I shouldn't like you and what have you, but I respect what you've done over the summer. Getting rid of O'Neill, the PE teacher, getting a proper manager, letting him put his philosophy in. It's and didn't I say, John? Didn't I say you signed a good manager, and I think you had the best transfer window. So
yeah, and our 2 most expensive players are still injured at the moment in Tyler Adams and Alex Scott. And Alex Scott was looking great until he got injured against City. So yeah, looking onwards and upwards. So are you gonna come up with a different nickname for us now? Because you can't exactly call us Bournemouth after we go to Man United and win 3-0.
Yeah, but you still do play boring counter-attacking.
Got a point.
Sorry, that coming from a Nottingham Forest fan.
I'm neutral tonight, so you can't tag me with any.
No, I don't care how neutral you are. You're still a Nottingham Forest fan.
I missed that. Did he insult us? I missed that. Hang on.
I'll think about it.
And Wolvie said, said Bournemouth still play boring counter-attacking football, and I think that's pretty.
Man,
pretty rich.
I'd give my left arm to the kind of football you guys are playing at the minute. I tell you.
I'm just going on what Rich said, man. I'm just going on what Rich said. All right, let's get to the jester in the room. Hi, Jimmy. Not you yet. Jace. Your time is coming, Jace. Your time is coming, my friend. So, your boyfriend's back in, Jimmy.
My boyfriend. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, my word. Gee. Right,
hey, you've been in an absolute love affair with him over this past month and a half. I've got my club back. I've got my club back.
We have.
Yeah. What happened with the manager bounce off the bat, mate?
You mean Liverpool at home?
Yeah. I mean, manager bounce at home. What happened there, mate?
Did you see how we played against Liverpool? Did you see any of the game?
Why would I watch a bunch of blunt players playing? There are better things to do.
Listen, you might say that because you've got an audience here, but you told me, actually, mate, I saw you play against Liverpool and you played pretty well. So, come on, which is it? Which is it?
What?
So, I will tell you, if you're going with the facade that you didn't see us play against Liverpool, we were beaten by a better team on Wednesday night, but we were so much better under Wilder. The crowd was back into it. They just know what it is to play for our brilliant club now. So at the weekend, that was proven even further, weren't it, when we turned Brentford over? I think they looked poor, but we made them look poor. And we are definitely back, mate. There's no 2 ways about it. And we are going one way, and Forest are going another. And I absolutely...
Jimmy, you've not even reached the lowest points total ever in the Premier League, man. What are you talking about? You've won 1 game. Come on, settle down.
There's me
too
thinking it won't
high
end
on
at
it.
season. There's me thinking it's not all over now. Oh no, it must be done. Yeah, you're right. We've not beat Derby's record with worst team ever, are we? We're only 16 games in. There's 22 games left to play. Are you a little bit nervous, lads? Is that how you're feeling?
But the best indication of what is to come is to look at what's gone, and it's not very good, is it?
No, well, that's ridiculous. That's an absolute. What an absolutely ridiculous philosophy that is. I've never heard it so ridiculous in all my life.
Look at what's gone. Football channel. It's banter. You meant to say stuff.
Oh, it's banter. All right, it's not logic. It's banter. Okay, I'm just saying.
It's
Make
a
a reasonable argument, and I'll have that with you. That's fine. But we've got a new manager, which will completely change the whole complexion of our season. I've no doubt. I'm not saying we'll survive. That would be ridiculous for me to say when we're 7 points. We're 6 points away from you, but your goal difference is better than ours, so you can call it 7. I have every confidence we can catch you. I have every confidence we can catch you. Cooper in all the way. We want Stevie Cooper to stay and keep doing the sensational job that he's doing for Forest. If you give him another 200 players, he might just have a chance. But we'll see. We'll see. It'll all be Cooper's fault and no one else's.
Jimmy,
if this club fails.
Jimmy, are you not the guy who 2 weeks ago I heard saying we should sack sitting bottom, but maybe we should wait till Forest get rid of Cooper so we can have Cooper?
I would. Do you know what? The irony in that is absolutely right. I would always take Chris Wilder over anybody, and anybody that's ever watched me will know that that's the case. If we couldn't have got Chris Wilder, I would take Steve Cooper tomorrow, because
that's absolute straw man.
The way you are treating him is absolutely horrendous. That man took you from the bottom of the championship with no money. This is when you weren't giving him any money. And he got you up into the playoffs. You beat us by a gnat's hair, which is fair game. I'm not saying that wasn't, fair play. It could have gone one or two ways. If it had gone the other way, you'd probably be in League One now, if we're honest with each other, because you had like...
Jimmy,
get you up, by the way, mate.
He kept you in the Premier League last season, and now, because you're not challenging for Champions League, Cooper out! Get him gone! We've never had a worse manager in all our lifetimes. It's ridiculous. We're Nottingham Forest. We should be challenging for Champions League.
Jimmy, you're absolutely strawmanning your own argument there. When you said wait for Forest to sack Cooper so we can have him, was what's his face available or not?
When did I say that?
About 3 weeks ago.
It's not true. If you can show me that, that's fine. But I have
You're
always
extreme,
said,
man.
I've always said Wilder. I've always said Wilder.
No, okay, so why did you throw Cooper's name there? Wilder was still available.
If we were
Clearly, you think Cooper's better.
I'll tell you why. Because people were saying, who else will come to Sheffield United? And people are crying out for somebody like Graham Potter, he's linked to his Stoke. I've seen today. That's an absolute joke. He's going to hold out for a mid-table to higher up Premier League club, and that's not us.
Hopefully us.
Yeah, it may be you, pal. It may be you. But it's not going to be us at this moment in time. I was asked, if not Wilder, then who? And the first name for me would have been Steve Cooper, if not Chris Wilder.
Jimmy.
Yes, mate.
I actually agree with you, mate. I would rather have Cooper than Heckingbottom, okay? I don't disagree with what you're saying there. I understand fully what you're saying, and I don't blame you one bit.
Okay.
However, you said, how dare we as Nottingham Forest fans criticise our manager? Did Heckingbottom not bring you up out of the doldrums into the Premier League?
There's a huge difference. Look at the team he brought you up with. Cooper brought you up with. How many contracted players did you have? And this is your own argument as to why you signed 3,000.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're right.
So you had 5 loan players in your first team. You had 6 maybe first teamers who you've replaced all of them. We retained the squad that we got relegated from Premier League with, so should have gone straight back up again. We then kept them for a second season, and that time we got up again. So listen, it weren't an easy job for Eki to do, don't get me wrong, but we should have been challenging for promotion. I don't think you were in the same boat. We should have been challenging for promotion. We should have got up, and we did. He's done the job that was asked of him. But when you make a start to the season like Heckingbottom did, you cannot survive at this level. 8-0, 5-0, 5-0. It weren't happening.
Jimmy, getting us promoted 2 seasons ago was absolutely a miracle and fantastic and fabulous. And every Forest fan will love and adore Steve Cooper forever. However, does that mean you stick with that guy? Our record, Jimmy, is worse this season than it was last season. Worse, right?
Okay.
Sorry, it's about the same with wins, losses, and draws. We've won 1 game out of our last 12. You tell me a manager in this division that will survive a record of 1 win out of 12.
Eckingbottom did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How confident are you that? How confident are you that Cooper's picking these players or being given them?
I don't care. He's a coach. You get the best out of the players you've got. He's not getting the best out of the players he's got, and he's not playing the tactics that are going to move us forward as a club.
If he's not got a say in who's coming in and out, then it's an ownership issue, isn't it?
Why do you assume that? Why are you assuming that?
Because you haven't. Well, I'm not. I don't know. I'm asking the question.
Yeah,
really,
exactly. You're giving him an excuse.
No,
the fact of the matter is, we have bought in quality players who should be playing a better style of football and be gelling a lot better than they are. We have now gone back on Saturday. We went back to playing the kind of football that wasn't working in the first place, a back 5, low block, players like Kouyaté in the team, players like Yates in the team. He's gone back to the people he knows because he can't handle proper footballers because he doesn't know how to set them up right.
So has he brought him in?
Nobody on this planet is going to tell me that Yates is better than Dominguez, Danilo, or Sangare. Nobody's going to tell me he's a better player. And yet he's in the team. Why? Because he can play running around kicking people.
Has he brought these players in? I'm asking you though, has he brought them in?
Or has he been told,
we're giving you these players, you make it work?
Who do you think brought Chris Wood in? Do you think that Marinakis went out and scouted Chris Wood and John Joe Shelby? Really?
Chris Wood did a job for you though, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
Didn't he?
What job?
Isn't he your top scorer this season?
Got more than he did for us.
No, he's not. No. Taiwo
is up there though, isn't he? Who is?
Huh?
Taiwo. Who's your top scorer? Oh, okay, fair enough. Chris Wood's up there though. He scored 3.
Yeah, but Chris Wood scored against Sheffield United.
Top goal scorer is only 2. It doesn't mean a great deal, does it? Let's be honest.
No, but what I would say is that this it's surely going to be the case that Marinakis and the scouting team behind Nottingham Forest, some of them have come in without much approval from the manager. Because it's the case that it's the case that any most teams now, there's the manager is involved maybe in the final process, or they might give the final go ahead and should be giving the final go ahead. But most of the rest of the club are the ones that are involved in the recruitment.
I don't care.
Yeah,
the guy tried to make
that's why I'm saying
do it. Couldn't do it.
That's why I'm saying it's a middle ground between the two.
Any of the players. That's the manager's job, right? And I'll tell you something else. The narrative has really changed. You asked Rich if he'd like Cooper in place of Houghton. You ask Jimmy if he'd like Cooper in instead of Wilder. You asked Jace if he'd like Cooper instead of maybe
not instead of Wilder. I'd have had him if Wilder weren't coming, and I think Rich might take
Wilder over Cooper. You'd have Wilder over Cooper.
I'd have Wilder over Cooper. Yeah, I'd have Wilder over majority of people. To be fair, I think sometimes the manager.
I accept that. I understand that.
I think,
but with all due respect, I'm sure that Bournemouth John wouldn't want Cooper instead of his current manager. Jace, how about you? Would you prefer Cooper? Well, you might actually prefer Cooper over Moyes because But look at the teams we're looking at. Desperate teams.
But here's the one thing.
Not many people would take him. 1 win out of 12.
Who are you going to get?
1 win out of 12 games. 1 win out of 12 games.
Better than Steve Cooper?
Why do people always ask that?
That's a silly, irrelevant question. We don't know. We're not paid. We haven't got the scouting structure that the club's got. We don't know managers.
Don't matter.
Not many
you
people.
don't
not
care.
Many people hang on, Jimmy. Not many people have heard of De Zerbi before he came in. Not many people have heard of Areola before he came in. There are managers out there. Trust me, there are lots of good managers out there. But it's not our job to find them. We don't get paid. We don't get paid. We haven't got the resources.
Jimmy, let me ask you this, Jimmy.
Go on, mate.
Jimmy, let me ask you this. When you decided you were Hecky out, was that before or after you decided who you wanted as the replacement?
8-0 to Newcastle was when I decided I wanted Hecky out. And if you'd have told me even halfway through last season that Chris Wilder were interested in coming back, I'd have said, I'm in the minority there.
Yeah, we understand the love of
I'm in the minority there, but after the 8-0, I was Hecky out personally. And people thought that was harsh, but that doesn't happen to our club, or it should never happen to our club.
That moment you went,
I think you'd all be in a similar boat. Say again?
But that moment you went Heckingbottom out, had you already decided who you wanted in next? Or did you do that bit first?
Yeah, you wanted Wilder in. But aside from that, because that might not have happened.
Because, yeah, I know what you're going with here, Wolfie, but you can't call for a manager out if there's not a replacement ready for him. And I know what Ant's saying. We could scour Europe, and Marinakis might know a foreign manager that's done well in a league that we're not aware of, and he might drop in and do really well. Look at Postecoglou, I suppose, coming in from Australia, and Celtic pluck him and drop him in, and he does really well. I understand all that. But who is going to replace that we're aware of? If you could get a Graham Potter, and I'm not saying it's beyond the realms of possibility, but if you could get a Graham Potter, then I could understand it. If that's the rumour that Potter's coming in for Cooper, then maybe I understand it.
But we don't know.
What's he done?
Yeah, but I put it like this, Jimmy, I put it like this. Yeah. It's like when you buy a player, whenever you get a new manager, it's a risk. It can be the best manager in the world. Plenty of them have failed. Jose's failed. You know, managers can fail at certain clubs. But one thing is for sure, if we keep Cooper, we're fucked. So I'd rather take a chance on a new manager that may or may not be a great success, rather than stick with somebody that I know is not good enough and will not bring success. Honestly, mate, the football is atrocious. And we're getting nowhere. We are further away from where we want to be now than we were this time last season.
Love it.
So there's only one solution to that. Literally, there's one solution.
All right, before we depress everyone in the chat, let's cheer them all up. Jace, how do you lose 5-0 to Fulham, man? What kind of dumbass team loses 5-0 to Fulham?
2 weeks ago, and I was having to sing fucking blowing bubbles on here to this guy.
Hang on. How come we have to go through midweek games, but we miss your midweek game? How did that happen?
It's because Jace can't stay around.
You really want to hear me say how shit we were?
Yeah. We'll move on from your.
Tell you how shit we were, mate. We were shitter than shit.
Oh, please,
we
tell me more.
Shitter. There's not much more to say.
Jace off the hook here. I want to hear from Senor Jace, yeah, Mr. Looking down at us all, yeah. In fact, just for this, let's just swap him around with John so he can look down at everyone, right? Yeah. Jace, talk to us, mate. Which was your favorite goal out of the 5?
Wolfie,
sorry, tell that again.
Put Jace next to Ant so we can compare 5-0s.
There you go.
Listen, it just shows. I was saying this before the Spurs game, right? I was saying this when we won that Spurs game. I knew we're just a team that is just up and down, topsy-turvy. We're getting away with it with Moyes. Moyes is a fraud. He is. He's blaming sickness and all that. He's
not your European champion winning manager.
Listen, our European champion manager, it was done wonderful what he done.
Jess, you change your opinions more than you change your pants, mate. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. 1 week you're Moyes in.
Listen, I've said before. I said before. I was on the fence at the moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, you think about this and that, you're thinking about that, but then when you look at it, really, we're not improving. We're not going anywhere with him. We're just the same every season, and it's just tiring. It's tiring.
Sound familiar, Rich?
He's getting shown now. He's getting shown what he really is, really, and that is we're not improving. We're not. Look at Villa. Look at them. We should be there. We should be our standards, our players that we have should be in that top 6, but we're not. We just keep dropping down, up and down, up and down, up and down. He got away with it at Spurs. That Spurs game wasn't great. It wasn't great football, was it?
That's not what you were saying after the match.
We got away with it. We got away with one lucky goal and the Bowen goal, to be honest. So, and for 5-0, it was dreadful. Absolutely.
Can I just ask?
Everything was wrong. There was no energy. Nothing, just lackluster. Like you could say, maybe the games are coming too much thick and fast for us. I don't know, but Moyes brought on defenders during the second half. He brought on like 2 defenders. instead of going for the game when you're 3-0 down? Like, what is that all about? Why? Why bother?
Sounds like Cooper.
Sounds like Hodgson.
It's just, it doesn't make sense. It blows my mind why you would do that. Why would you bring on 2 defenders instead of going for the game? It just, it's sad. It's sad to see a great club like mine lose 5-0 because we shouldn't be losing 5-0 because we are one of the best teams in the league. To be honest.
Oh, mute him, Wolfie. Yeah. Ridiculous.
And we're the most entertaining. We've got the best fan base. And it's
best stadium.
It's sad to see. It's sad to see.
Best hot dogs.
And Moyes is getting away with it. He's a fraud. He's a fraud.
Dude.
It was something I was kind of going to bring up when you were talking about Cooper and Forest. But obviously,
we're happy now, John. Don't do it.
Forest and Bournemouth were, by most metrics, the 2 worst teams in the division last year. I would fair to say Bournemouth definitely got lucky. I would guess that Forest feel they got a bit lucky, particularly towards the end of the season. Bournemouth decided that they weren't going to stick with getting lucky, so they sacked their manager in the middle. And a lot of people got quite self-righteous over the fact that Gary O'Neill was sacked, and now obviously he's doing well at Wolves. I'll ask you boys. I'll ask you boys for Forest whether you agree. But Jace, even if you were on a high, and obviously you had you won your European trophy. If you'd had the option of dropping Moyes in the summer, not with any hindsight, not knowing how you'd do this season, not knowing the players that you were going to sign and going to sell, if you'd had the option, would you have been happy for Moyes to go and say, thank you, you've done your job, but we'll bring someone else to take us on now? Would you have wanted Moyes to go in the summer?
Yes, I would have. Definitely. I would definitely 100%. I would have.
You were on the fence last week. You were Moyes in week before.
Listen,
you were down week before that.
The truth, you know what? Right? You've got to be fake sometimes. Right? I'm not gonna lie. We've always wanted Moyes out, but we just had to hide it. Hide our secrets.
It's all coming out now.
You know what? That's absolutely true. I know that. Him and Lawless were desperate for Moyes to go. Because Moyes was getting results.
Yeah, we had to be honest. We had to lie for our fans. Because you'll get it. You'll get it.
So am I right?
I've always wanted me and John. But then I thought. But then you think to yourself, all right, he's won us the cup. And you're like, oh, maybe give him. It's like when you're dating someone, you're like, oh, maybe I'll give him a couple of more. One more date, 2 more dates. So it goes.
And she did something last night that I really liked.
And then you settled,
so I'll give it another go.
She just, you know what I mean? She just. It's not going right, is it? It's not going right. Yeah. You're buying all these presents or whatever you're doing, and it's not working, is it? It's not working.
Yeah, you settled, Jace. That's the problem.
That's it, isn't it? That's it.
You know what's scary?
There's only me and John happy with managers at the minute. Is that right?
Now? Yeah, that's it. Out of the
you only had your 20 minutes.
You know what's scary?
Well, I mean, he had them for a few years before that as well.
Yeah, I know.
We go around
like a jilted ex, he couldn't help it. Had to go back.
Football moves on. Football moves on.
Could you imagine if there was literally a managerial carousel where, for example, Cooper goes to say Palace? God forbid.
Could happen. This could happen. You're joking.
Hodgson goes to West Ham and Moyes goes to Forest.
I can see Potter going to West Ham, Moyes going to Forest, and Cooper going to Palace. I can see it. Moyes wouldn't drop down that well.
Hang on. In this merry-go-round, and would you rather have Moyes or Heckingbottom?
Fucking hell, man. Do I prefer to eat shit or
this merry-go-round? There's a manager we're not talking about here, which is Heckingbottom. But no, all right. And
we need like a Xabi Alonso or something like that. We need something.
You mentioned that last week, Jace. You've got absolutely no fucking chance of getting
John. Let him have it.
One of the managers in Europe right now.
We are.
No fucking chance.
We're a high-class club. To be honest. You know?
JC killing
I
me,
don't know
man.
what high
Even
class
I'm
establishments you've been in
enough.
recently,
I'm
Chase, but
not-
Xabi Alonso ain't fucking going.
You're not
there.
even the top three.
Bring
clubbing
us
is
Xabi
16.
Alonso, Thomas Tuchel. Who else could we have?
Zinedine Zidane.
Carlo
Yeah, Zinedine Zidane, Carlo Ancelotti.
I reckon
He's in the
you
job.
could steal Pep away from City if you put your mind to it.
You know what? I think we could.
Yeah, sure. And mind you, I was going to ask. I was going to ask you. I mentioned Bournemouth got rid of Iraola. Jace would have been happy to get rid of Moyes if in the summer someone had offered you. You don't know who it's going to be. You don't know who's going to replace him. But would you have been happy for Cooper to say, "Thanks, Cooper. We'll see you later. Good luck in your career." In the summer, if you had the option to.
I'll tell you what my situation
Well, I know you would have
was.
done, Wolvie. I'm not asking you.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm neutral. Sorry, I forgot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the situation was, and the guys will back me up here. I said, obviously, as we it gets really boring, and say, yes, thank you, Steve, for getting us up. Yeah. In the first year, I said, I don't care. I don't care what kind of football it is. I don't care who's playing, as long as we survive. But in the second year, I want to see progress. So, no, I wouldn't have sacked him at the beginning of the season because I was happy or willing to give him a chance his second year in Premier League management.
Very kind of you. The man that got you promoted and kept you up. That's very kind of you to give him a chance.
Yeah. Well, Heckingbottom got you up, so shut your mouth.
Yeah,
right,
I wanted it out. 10 games in, rubbish.
So I was prepared to give him another season, but I'm afraid he's let me down. And I repeat, 1 win in 12.
Yeah.
1 win in our last 12.
2 away wins in 27, and
2 away wins in 28 now it is, actually. 2 wins in 28 away games.
That is getting to Heckingbottom levels, that.
I think that's past it.
So can you understand why we're starting to say we're not sure if this guy's the right man for the job? I mean, in the past, loads of teams have been promoted and got rid of the manager after a season in the Premier League. It's happened loads of times. Because sometimes you're good enough. You're good enough for one standard of football, but you're not good enough for a higher standard of football. Steve Cooper is brilliant as a championship manager. He's proven it with Swansea and ourselves. He's not proven anything in the Premier League except he can't handle it.
Don't you think, though, the club, the ownership, the manager all have to be singing off the same hymn sheet and know which players are coming in, have a plan as to how you're going to play? If you don't know or don't think the manager is having much involvement in the recruitment, how is it ever going to work? You can't just be handed 20 players and said, make this work. It just doesn't work.
All I would say to that, Jimmy, is though that
I'm sure Steve Cooper's a massive admirer of the Brazilian league. I'm sure he knows which players to bring over.
Go on, John, what are you saying?
Brought some good players in. If you're bringing good players in, you should be able to manage them. And it's a tactic as well, Jimmy. There's so many things, mate. You don't have to watch Forest every week. You're lucky.
Thank God.
Vice versa.
God. I don't know.
Yeah. Would you think I want to watch Sheffield, mate? So, so we can see it. We can see it with our own eyes. We can see what's happening or not happening at that club. And I'm sorry, the guy's not good enough for the Premier League. That's it.
It's a bit like, and I think the best example that maybe would resonate with Jimmy, it's a bit like if you looked at Sheffield United. They're not good enough for the Premier League, but they tend to play okay in the Championship. That's the kind of, and am I right in going to that analogy? Yeah. Go on, John,
without meaning to double down on the Sheffield United bashing,
that's all right.
Wasn't it? Forgive me if I'm wrong, but one of the reasons Wilder sort of struggled in Sheffield United's second season in the Prem last season was because of a breakdown in communication between him and the board. Certainly the recruitment was, if I remember correctly, pretty diabolical. You brought in about 800 strikers in your second season without much to back up the very important overlapping centre-backs. So, I mean, it's correct. You do need that sync up between the manager and the board. And I suppose that's why, I mean, Wilder's been brought in on basically a 6-month contract, hasn't he?
No, 18 months.
Oh, was it 18? Oh, I thought it was to the end of the season. But yeah, it's not a long-term deal because obviously you had had breakdowns with him before. So you're hoping that they're just able to settle their differences this time around.
I am 99% sure he'll be with us for a long time to come. I'll be amazed if he's not. You can never say for definite because they'd a fallout, the board and Wild. And to be honest, looking at him, if we're going to talk seriously for a second, it was just completely burnt out. It were COVID, and that's not an excuse. I know everybody had the same conditions in COVID, but he was just out on his feet. You could tell in presses he weren't himself. You know what he's like in press conferences, whether you like him or not, he's always up or he's spiky. There's some sort of personality coming out of him. And you watch them interviews during COVID period when we were getting hammered every week, and it were gone. It were blank expressions. It absolutely was. I'm not, well, to be fair, in terms of the Middlesbrough thing, he got them to almost within a whisker of the playoffs, changed their style of play. They threw a load of new players at him. He set the table. As soon as he was sacked, Carrick came on, played the same formation with one tweak, and went off. And it's Carrick that's the main man now.
There's the tweak for it while they couldn't see them.
There
you go.
Oh, yeah.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
A motivator, maybe.
It happens.
Let me bring Rich in. Rich, you've heard all the pros and cons for all these managers that are being whipped around this imaginary merry-go-round at the moment. Yeah. And by the way, guys, can we just take a moment and just applaud Rich, because we are here with TV royalty, as Rich and JC were on TNT Sport yesterday, Saturday afternoon or morning, don't know with Rich these days. So congratulations, chat. We have a guy who's been on TNT Sport here. So thank you for blessing us with your time, Rich. We do
and
appreciate
FFTV as well.
Can I just say,
Appreciate
I
it,
was
Rich.
in Cockney versus Zombies, the movie. I was a West Ham zombie. Check it out.
Hang on, sorry, Cockney versus Zombies.
Yes, I was a zombie. I was a West Ham zombie in Cockney versus Zombies. So you've got another royalty here as well.
To Google.
Yes, and they didn't need any makeup with you for that one, did they, mate?
What's Cockney versus Zombies?
It's a wonderful movie.
Googling it.
It's a wonderful movie. Which is
You really have a me complex. No one was talking about you.
I just thought I'd put my 2 cents in there.
Deary me, you had your moment. Sorry, you were rudely interrupted.
Yes, Sir Rich, as Raphael's pointing it out, right? Talk to me now, because on TV, it's now stated, it's on the record, mate. You were Hodgson out. Yeah, I mean, you didn't exactly say those words. You're obviously too scared. Yeah, maybe we need a change in direction. Maybe you need new manager. Yeah. So let's just put it on the table. Hodgson out, right? Who do you want in?
I was Hodgson out from the Luton game.
You didn't say it on TNT.
No, but I said it here.
Sure, there's more people watching here that would have watched Palace playing football, mate. But I get that. So, from what you've heard so far, who's tickling your fancy to replace Woy?
Chris Wilder, tough.
None of our managers here, anyway. The only two that I'm like fingers crossed for are either Lopetegui or Potter, but I don't think either of them will come.
You get them, man. Why do they
That's
want to
why
Sainsbury's?
One of your gaffers. No, none of them.
Wolfie, do you think Lopetegui would?
I don't.
You think Lopetegui would choose Forest over Palace?
Every day of the week and then twice on Sunday. Well, maybe not on Sundays.
You know what? No,
the
thing is, Jimmy, I don't think it'll get to a stage where he has to choose, because our owner's a bit inept. Like, he's going to try and keep Roy as long as possible.
Oh,
so by the time it's time to
and he really likes Cooper,
bite the bullet, I think Lopetegui will be gone anyway.
Right.
Is the one thing I would say as well on that is that
I don't think Palace will sack
Uncle Roy.
They will at some point.
They're too loyal for him, and then when you do bring in someone, you play terribly. So.
Jace, are you telling Rich he's got him till he dies, mate? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. I think
Selhurst Park is now
been calling that since the beginning of the season. Like, I think Wolves has a personal vendetta against Hodgson.
I'm gonna feel so bad. You know what? It's you that started it when you said he's going upstairs, mate. Last season, you said that, mate. Not me, man. We know what subconsciously you're thinking, mate.
Roy sounded to me on TNT like you were fed up anyway, and he won't. You know, he were expecting bullet.
Yeah,
I think
it will be very interesting to see how this pans out, because obviously, with the window coming up, is it a case where Roy's going to say, "Listen, I'm going to go and let someone else take the reins and have a transfer window"? Or not. It's so difficult. But once again, at the same time, it's all him. It's all on the whole Forest situation. I think it literally is all on that, because I think if Cooper gets sacked, I no word of lie, I generally think that Parish and Dougie are going to be, we need him. That's what I think, and that's why I'm hoping that. That's what. As much as I don't want you lot to get too many points because it'll drag us further down the league, but if you get points, then Cooper stays. You know, so that's kind of the hope.
You're in a conundrum there, Rich, aren't you?
It's a massive pickle. It is a massive pickle, and I mean, I don't know if you want me to. I didn't get to talk much about Saturday's game, but we got robbed.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
We got robbed. I think, as much as I'm right out, I want to say, listen, well done to all the players and right. We were brilliant against Liverpool. So much better than we were against Bournemouth. You know, we asked for a reaction, we got a reaction, and the ref took the game out of our hands. The first yellow card for Ayew, no complaints. Like, the rules are the rules. Don't stand in front of the football. The second yellow card? That was barely a foul.
Oh shit!
You know,
that was the yellow card.
Yeah, I think it was. Maybe it's maybe a bit soft, but I mean,
it is very soft.
They're on a counter attack.
I think the fact that he's had literally that was his first offense since the first yellow card. You would normally go and give a player a talking to.
Yeah.
You know?
I do go on you that.
Right. It says it all when Dermot Gallagher, who is the most pro-referee, like a referee, you could punch someone in the face and the referee might not send him off and go, no, the ref's got it right there. Like, Dermot Gallagher goes and says, I thought not. A second, as in regarding to second booking. All I can think is the referee thinks Ayew is breaking a promising attack, which he's not. And if Dermot Gallagher's saying it, then my goodness me. I wouldn't say we were in complete control, but we weren't in any danger. Liverpool had 2 shots on target. They were the 2 goals they scored after we went down to 10 men.
Rich, are you worried that Palace could get dragged into a relegation battle?
Yep. You already are.
Jason, is that you? Is that you on that front cover?
I can't see it.
You can't tell from that.
No, it's not.
Are you a zombie in it? Because it's a fucking brilliant film. Are you a zombie in it?
Yes, I'm a West Ham zombie, and we're facing the Millwall zombie.
Yeah, I was going to say clearly. It's like a 50 seconds.
Me and Dan was on it. Me and Dan.
Jace, is that Zoe from EastEnders?
That is Zoe from EastEnders. Yes.
Oh, I remember Zoe.
I'm gonna watch it again tonight, and I'm gonna keep my eye out for it.
I was a lot thinner. I was like 19, something like that, or whatever. I can't remember how old I was.
Wait, Lawless was on as well.
Me and Lawless was on, and we the zombies.
Did he have hair?
He didn't have hair. He was bald in that stuff.
I just looked at the scene.
Sorry, guys. We're getting a bit distracted
because it's 10 years ago.
Just lastly, based on it's what you were saying, Jimmy, as well about being dragged in. We are in a relegation battle, and what doesn't help is our injury record.
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it?
It's bad. We've just lost 4 more players. Play your violin all you want. We ain't got the luxury of to sign 200 players.
We have got
exactly, Rich. They don't get it, do they?
We have got by far the worst injury crisis in the entire division. Tyro's missing. Tyro's missing. That's it.
Yeah, that's fine. But
that's it.
I think our starting lineup.
Can't score.
Forest ain't got enough players. Is that what you're saying?
Forest has not got enough players. One striker guard, and that's your team five.
Let's keep it on Palace.
I think our potential starting 11 against Man City away at the Etihad this Saturday could be.
I was having a little giggle.
We could have Remy Matthews in goal or Joe Whitworth. Joe Ward right back.
Henderson.
Huh?
Where's Dean Henderson?
Don't even do that, please.
Still injured.
Nathaniel Klein left back. Our midfield 3 could potentially be Chris Richards walked off in crutches, so he's out. Gyro, Hughes, and oh my gosh, who else will play in midfield? Ahamada maybe, and then up front, Elise, Schlapp, and Mateta. That could be our start.
Rich, with all due respect, even if you named your first 11, I think outside of Elise and Eze, no one knows who they are anyway.
Which is totally fine. Now, listen, granted,
I didn't think we'll saying that. Okay, I keep up with signings.
Win anyway. But John, how much did you concede at the Etihad? Because I think that's going to be broken.
No, it was 6-1. And I still think. And like
all right, yeah, we're losing by 7.
Yeah. Well, it's 6-1. But the thing, and like I said, I still think that was one of our best performances against Man City away at the Etihad, and we still conceded 6. But yeah, just to go back on what I was mentioning about Lopetegui and where he might go, is that one of the reasons he left Wolves is because he didn't have enough money to sign the 200 players that he wanted. So I think he'd settle in brilliantly at Forest. He would settle in.
That'd be a good match.
At Forest.
That'd be a good match.
Exactly. I'm fairly certain.
Who do you blame though when those 200 players don't go right? Who do you blame? You can't blame Lopetegui's the second come in. Marinakis, you daren't criticise because then he might pull the money. Who do you
Have you seen him, mate? Have you seen him? Would you blame him? Would you blame him sitting there, the chairman right here, man?
Well, I mean, come on. It's like he clearly went up in a huff in midweek because he threw his fucking pass in it.
Yeah, he did.
I wonder why when you put £200 million of money, your own money into a club, and you've had 1 win in 12 and you're losing 5-0. I wonder why you'd be a bit annoyed.
Yeah, but you're meant to show a little bit of dignity, aren't you, as the owner of a club? You don't just litter.
No, I'd rather him have ran down to the touchline, grabbed hold of Steve Cooper and punched him in the face. So sod your dignity.
Wow.
And I think you'd be in a.
We're a football club. What's up with you?
Be in charge of a club.
We're a football club. We're meant to win games of football. Meant to entertain.
Ant, are you in a relegation battle?
No.
Of course we are.
Nah.
How can we not be with that 1 win in 12? How can you not be in a relegation battle?
Who's going to catch you?
Sheffield United. Who else is in that division?
Clip that.
Luton and Burnley.
Clip
that.
No, not Sheffield United, and
I'm having a laugh, right, mate. I'm having a laugh with you. I'm, bit of banter, bit of laugh. Sheffield United with their magnificent squad, their brilliant manager who they sacked last time they had him.
We're coming for you.
Luton Town, Burnley.
You've got a 5
Palace will drop below us. I can see that happening.
Listen, you know what? I'll tell you what, Jimmy.
They can't lose points unless they fuck things up. You've got to get points to go above them.
Wait a minute. I have absolutely zero worry about Forest getting relegated. There is not a chance. And clip this. You want to clip something? Yeah. There is not a chance, whilst I've got a hole in my arse, that Forest are getting relegated. No chance whatsoever. None, 0, 0.
Someone get the soul.
Make sure I look good. Make sure I look good for this clip.
Shit.
Is that an East Midlands phrase?
Luton is shit. Burnley is
I
shit.
would love it if we beat them. Love it.
Okay, now you're definitely
I'm getting the vibes.
Jace, are you in a relegation fight?
No, we're in
the 9th.
We're in the mid-table. I think, we just our hopes of getting Champions League is winning the Europa League, which
9th, but Moyes out. Ridiculous.
Impossible. When the new manager comes in, maybe. But
yeah, Xabi Alonso.
Seriously, Jace, who do you want? Right, because now you're out the closet. We know you're a liar. Yeah?
Listen, I told you, Alonso.
No, realistically, who do you want? Not Jace's list.
Realistically, we could get him, couldn't we?
Would you take Potter at West Ham?
I think Potter's
why has Potter's stocks fallen down so much? Before he went to Chelsea, everybody wanted Potter. True. He went to Chelsea, which is a total madhouse.
Brighton,
and he was never going to succeed there. And now all of a sudden, nobody wants him.
Poch is doing it's not the managers, it's the club.
I want Potter.
I bet you do.
You're not going to get
we'll have
Which you don't get a say, mate. You get whoever is given to you, mate. Don't get
literally, at least Potter trusts his youth. Honestly.
Hey, Roy's paying his youth with you lot.
Well, he's got no choice because they got 20,000 injured players.
We won't. I bet we still won't see any of the youngsters play.
All right, guys. Go on.
Can I just be serious for just a second? When I said that about holding that, I've never ever said that in my life. I don't know.
I was wondering whether that
was
was an East Midlands phrase or something. Because
I don't know where that's come from. I don't know where it came from.
Clip it.
It's bizarre. It's just what you do to me.
Clip.
Picking on me all the time.
It comes
That'll
from
be
the same
played
hole
in
you
May.
talk out of, and that's where it came from, mate.
This is true. This is
All
true.
right.
When you're
All right,
talking
guys,
on race
so-
to promotion next year, that'll be played again and again and again.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick this question off. Right, Jimmy,
Yep.
who's going down now?
Burnley,
Right,
Luton,
right.
Nottingham Forest. And do you know what? I will be the happiest man in the room. I will be the happiest man in the room. I cannot wait. Christy Wilder's Red and White Army. We're on the march with Wilder's Army. Come on,
Wait,
you
Jimmy.
Blades.
Jimmy,
I
are
do
you,
like
are you
there's one
trolling?
game.
I'm not
Oh, no,
trolling.
no. Are you being serious?
I think it's as close to
Let him have his
50-50
hope,
chance of
Wolfie.
surviving as it has been.
Jimmy, do you know what you sound like after this
Listen,
one win?
I love this. You can keep pouring it on because I know what a difference this manager makes. We will be a different side than the one
you
we
know
wanted
nothing.
earlier in the season. I'm not saying we'll definitely survive. I'm saying if you put me on the spot and said what I think could happen, I think Forest gets dragged in and we leapfrog them.
But Jimmy, you know what you sound like? You sound after this one win, you sound like a kid who's just come out of a fight telling his mates about, oh, mate, you should have seen the fight I was in. I punched the guy square in the face. His mates turn around to him and say, did you win? No, I ended up in hospital. He beat the shit out of me, but I got one punch in. That's what you're acting like, man, over one win against Brentford, who aren't even a real team.
I think you executed that pretty poorly. I think you could have gone with the David Brent. Oh, you should have seen me in there. You should have seen me in there. I threw him through the window. All that sort of thing. That was the better one, wasn't it? But I know what you're saying. It looks like I'm just getting it overexcited after one win, and that may be the case, pal. That may be the case. But if we go to Chelsea and get something, listen, it's
that
on,
won't
mate.
mean anything, Jimmy.
Yeah, but
Forest got something off Chelsea.
Jimmy, get excited, mate. Get excited, mate. It's football. Get excited.
You've got to do what you've got to do. You've got to do. And listen, at least if we do go down, we're going to go down swinging now, rather than just having his bellies tickled, and that's all I can ask for.
All right, let's move on to John's. I know John's got a stream. Who's your three going down, John? Now that you're all cocky and showing some ginger hair chest there.
I'm still sticking with the three relegated sides for now. I think Sheffield United might improve. Burnley haven't. Luton will do their best, but yeah, if it's not those three, then yeah, I'd be starting to get nervous as a Forest and Palace fan with the way things are going. But I do think that those two have got the
smug you are.
I think those two have got the. I think those two have got the squads to sort of come back once the injuries haven't gone. Although, to be fair, Forest don't have any injuries apart from
Taiwo.
2 players. Yeah, Taiwo and Serge Aurier, whereas Palace have got 10 injuries on their list.
Just Taiwo. Yeah. We're a one-man team, mate.
Anyway, I've got to head off. So I'll see you guys later.
All right, Richie.
See you later, mate.
Yeah, pal.
What are you saying, man? Are you worried now? Who's going down?
Yeah, I still think Sheffield United and Burnley.
Oh dear.
As two of them, but Forest or Palace will be the third.
You think Luton survive?
Yeah, I've always said this.
We're better than Luton.
I think their home form is what will keep them up.
We're better than Luton.
If you get Cooper, do you think you'll survive?
No.
Didn't even hesitate. Jace, who's going down?
I think.
Do you even know the other teams?
Burnley.
No, I don't know.
Burnley.
Forest,
Forest and Sheffield United. Come on.
Robbie, you know nothing.
Come on.
Of course he knows nothing. Of course he knows nothing. He's a bloody cockney, isn't he? What they fucking know?
He's a zombie, mate. He ain't
Get him all,
and a zombie, yeah.
Zombie
Can I
Jace.
just say, by the way, this Wednesday, I'm bringing back Dan Damo Jace on Twitch. We'll be playing some scary games and that. I'll be by myself, so we're testing it all out. So yeah, check it out if you've got Twitch. Dan Damo Jace. Thank you.
Yeah. Put the Twitch link. What's that mean? The Twitch link? I'll put it in the description, Jace.
Yes, we'll be bringing back our gaming show where we play some games, me and my mates and that, Dan and Damo. But this week it'll just be me testing it all out, making sure it's all up and running well, and we've been playing some scary games. So check it out, Dan Damo Jace on Twitch.
When you're in the champ, does it mean? Does it mean when you're in championship?
Oh, come back to me, good. Come back. All right, and who's going down?
Right. Sheffield United have given themselves the best possible chance of getting out. They've got rid of a very poor manager, and they've got in a manager that obviously knows the club, has feelings for the club, and the club obviously, or the fans obviously love him, and he can work with players and get them playing. So they're giving themselves a chance. I'm not going to automatically write them off as I was doing because of that. I think Luton will go down. I think that they're going to get injuries. They're going to get suspensions. That home form's not going to last. It's all right playing well, but you got to win games. So I think that Luton will go down. Burnley, I said from day one when everybody else was licking what's his name's arse, I said no. You could play that in Championship. You can't play it in the Premier League. So it's proving to be. So I think Burnley will go down, and it's going to be either Palace or Sheffield. I do give Sheffield that more of a chance now because of what they've done. I think they've done exactly the right thing. They are obviously short on quality. I think Jimmy would say they are short on quality players. You know, you do need, but the right manager.
We'll strengthen in January.
The right manager can get you a long way in this league. You know, even with all respect, kind of average Premier League players.
Absolutely, I'll take that, and that's fair. Our first 11 is good enough to compete at getting out of the bottom three. Anything much deeper than that, and we'll struggle. So as long as we can keep our better players fit, our first 12 or 13 players, we need 11 of those fit and firing, and then we'll strengthen in January, and I think we'll have every chance.
And Wilder's going to get that crowd right behind the team, isn't he? As we know from last season, that's massive. Getting the fans behind the team could be massive.
We play Luton on Boxing Day. That'll be huge. That'll be huge. We play Luton at home on Boxing Day. That'll be a massive game.
Sorry, lads, I've got to jump out. I'll see you guys later. Love you all.
Good luck, Jay.
With Ant complimenting Sheffield United, I think we'll call it there.
I thought I'd just do a bit of proper football talk.
Please hit the like button.
Just 2 minutes.
I feel very awkward right now. Hit that like button if you're feeling awkward as well. Subscribe to everyone's channel. Links in the description.
The shower.
Thanks to our neutral host. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I need a shower. We'll see you next week. Come on, you Reds.